Doing brakes today. Front brakes. We already did the rears. Check out that video. Skip to the end and see why we had to do that. So, I didn't have time to do the how-to on that, but just skip ahead. That's kind of fun. Front brakes. These guys just pop off. And then we got our 19 mil lug nuts. I'm just going to use the old impact gun to get them off real quick. And here's what you're left with. Now, if you really want, you can do a little depth gauge guy in there and see how much is left. But you see how it looks like an old record that you could just throw on, like a piece of vinyl, and listen to Frank Sinatra or something? Rotors are not supposed to look like that. If you were just doing pads, you could take the caliper off by taking this bolt out here and this bolt off down here, and then the caliper, boop, pops out. But since we're doing rotors too, we got to take the housing off, and the housing is held in by bigger bolts right there, and then I got a socket on the one down here, a little 15 mil socket. So we'll pop that guy off, see if we can cheat, leave the caliper in the housing and make this job faster. Okay, we got the top one out here. The bottom one's pretty loose, but it's not quite out. I'm gonna see if I can get the bottom one out all the way, and then we'll stick a screwdriver in here and pry this guy off. This is what I mean. You want to get the screwdriver in there and pry it off, and then you don't want this to hang by a brake line. So I highly recommend you find a bungee cord or anything to just hang it to this control arm or the frame, anywhere in here, so it doesn't just, you know, separate a brake line. That would ruin your day. Kind of like that. And then this pad will just push, and then you got to kind of whoop. And then we're going to throw our little brake tool in through here, whoop, whoop, and just push that piston all the way back in. Now this normally would sit on the inside of the caliper, but since I cheated, I had to get creative with it, and I just wedged it in there. It seems like it worked okay. And then this other pad pops out. These pads actually still had a lot of meat on them, so they must have just gotten hot or something to get all this scoring going on in there. Maybe contaminated? Not quite sure. Well, the cheating thing didn't work. I had to take it off the housing here. It was just two 14mm bolts, and then compress it with the brake thing. Sometimes you can cheat, but not on this truck. Old rotor just pops off. Before you put your new rotor on, it's a good idea to just spray it down, get some of that factory coating off of there. You don't want to glaze your pads first thing. And as far as brakes go, I guess there's other companies out there, but why would you not buy Power Stop? Got some new hardware here. These are those little like tension spring things, and these are just little shoe holders there. This guy here is that big middle spring. Let's see if we can just pop that out, and the new one will pop in. And then if you look down here, this guy is this guy. Full disclosure, I would be lying if I said that wasn't finicky. You just got to keep messing with it. And what I ended up having to do is kind of press this against the ground here and just loosen it up a little bit. You know, it was too tight, and then it ended up clicking on. But the hardware is there, and people ask me all the time, do you really have to replace the hardware? The answer, no. But it's kind of like putting dirty underwear on after you take a shower. Why? Now we're getting ready for our pads here. And there's something that you need to pay attention to when you're installing pads, and that's the little squeaker that they've got on them. You want to imagine when the pad is on the rotor, you want the squeaker on the leading side of this pad, meaning the rotor is going to contact that first. And so on this side, it's going to be down. Now, if we installed it backwards, let's say we were silly and did it squeaker up, I mean, it would still work, but it's just not right, because then the rotor can pull the squeaker away, and it won't give you the indication that you need when your brake pads get low. So go ahead and just make sure you always go squeaker down. Okay, make your life easier. Remember, we're not trying to cheat anymore. We're going to install this housing here, and the torque specs are really important on brake components. So I like to go to foot-pounds. Before we install the caliper, we're going to re-grease these pins. So just pop them off. That's the top, or that's the bottom, that's the top. We'll set them aside, see if they're different. Sometimes they are. Looks like on this truck they're not. We're gonna pull those boots off and grease them up. What we do here is just rub some along the shaft of both pins all the way around, put the boots back on, put these back in the housing, and then pads, caliper, done. Okie doke, you can see our grease popping out of the boot there. Man, those are good. And people ask, what happens if I don't grease those? Well, you risk this pin binding, and if you ever have a brake job where one pad is worn more than the other, it's usually because the caliper can't slide because these pins are bound up. But anyways, I digress. These are on. Pop that guy back on, 14 mil bolts. Best way to set the torque on these things is with the torque wrench according to the service manual. Second best way is, I'm pretty sure this is a trigger warning. Someone's gonna get offended. Well, how do you know they're torqued? Easy. Torqued. Okay, look, the passenger side is the same, except for I took the caliper off the housing like you should. Pads come out. I already did the squeezy thing. I'll take that off. Rotor, boom, 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 boom. Blah, blah, blah. Torque, rotor, bam, done. Now let's show you how to brake them in. First thing you want to do is pump the brakes a bunch because, you know, you just changed them, so you're not going to have any brakes the first time you hit the pedal. This procedure is called bedding or break-in, and different people have different ideas of what it is. I like to do 25 to 5 and then 40 to 5. What I mean by that is we get up to speed here to about 25 and then down to about 5 and then up to about 25 and then down to about 5. And we do this 5 times, 25 to 5. So this is 3, last one here. All right, and then we're gonna go 40 to 5. And do that 5 times. And then drive for 5 minutes and you should be good. So here I was in my driveway, and you'd think I was doing burnouts, but that's not the case. The parking brake is seized on this here. I went and put it in 4 low. Fortunately, this thing's a 4-wheel drive. Just to confirm, we got this one can turn. I don't know why it's not turning in there, probably because of the limited slip. That guy's turning pretty good. That guy's turning real good. But this guy here, no turnage. I initially got the whole back end was seized, and I was able to jack it up like this and just hit the gas and get the back end to brake. And I thought both of them went there, but then as I went to leave, you see that wasn't the case. So I'm gonna show you how to fix this problem. Take the tire off, throw some heat on it, and then grab the biggest hammer you can find. I found a 10-pounder. She was starting to twitch, then she stopped. If you rewind the video, you'll see that weight went from there to there. We're making progress. But sometimes these little yellow cans aren't hot enough, so we got to get a bigger one. Propane tank. It's like 1,000,000 Scovilles. Pretty warm. So, I guess the heat worked, and the pad back here, not great. And if you see in there, that brake pad seized to the drum. That was the whole problem.